morning, afternoon, evening to read it with all the work being done on the blah 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 procedural detective television talky bits, right? I mean, I don't mean that, sweetheart. Apple fritter, honey bunny. Of course you had to read the actual script to perform it and memorize it, and you put in the hours and you did the work and you did such a good job because you're such a good girl, but you read it, right? The scene? The scene? The one that's going to be scrutinized closer than any other? The one that's going to be gift 1,000 times over? The scene that'll basically be the culmination of our characters' arcs? You know, the scene. The kiss. Darling, dear, honey, bunny, I'm talking about the kiss. It's just... Look, I know we're done with work. I can turn off this beautiful grin for just a couple hours and grab a couple beers with you as just Scarlett, your co-worker Scarlett Samuels, and not actress Scarlett Samuels on the press junket as... But this is important, okay? I mean, the writers are making a huge leap with this. John would never even consider this, and Hugh would have never gone for it if he didn't think all the stupid little dykes in the audience were frothing at the mouth to see us. And if they weren't guaranteed a little spike in viewership with that 18 to 35 male demographic that they always held a reach for some reason. But still, you know, like, if we fuck this up, and we're not going to, we won't, but if we did, it could ruin the rest of the show. If the catharsis for 4 years of tension is simply two coconuts knocking against each other, it could fuck up the show. It could fuck up their lives. It could fuck up all of our lives, not just their Molly and Oksana's lives. Look, I know, it sounds insane. This coming from the same exact person who flubbed her lines so bad with Tiffany of all people that she said she was playing a whole different character because I spent so much time thinking about it. Okay, the reason nobody gave me a harder time about that was because of our chemistry, and it was stronger than the cringe for whatever reason, but they're real. I mean, aren't they? Real? To us? To you too? I mean, I go on set every day and, like, I'm not always in the right headspace because of the inevitable reality. This is still work even when it's play, but I think about the fact that Molly only had coffee for breakfast today. She's been so busy with the case and so stressed, and she just lost the one person she thought she could trust, and I don't think she feels like she even deserves to eat after everything she has gone through. After everything that has happened. And I'd like to think that maybe someone would notice that. That she works through her lunch breaks and stays late at the office when everyone else would usually hit the pub, like they did in season 1. Back when things were good. Back when things were easy. But I don't think anyone would. Well, I think someone would notice. Someone would. Don't you think about stuff like that too? Because I am. All the time. Even when it doesn't matter. Even when it's stupid. Even when it's things that no writer on that set has ever thought about, like what her favorite brand of shampoo is, or her favorite television show, or, yes, even what she had for breakfast this morning. Even now, as she exists narratively in such a defined, rigid way, I'm thinking about what she would be doing right now, right this second, if she were a real person, not confined to the constraints of a couple hours in a union workday. I don't want to think about her as a costume I have to put on. I want to think of her as a friend. My friend. Christ. Maybe I never stopped being that stupid little dyke after all. The type who drools over her screen at the imaginary lives of imaginary people in imaginary worlds because the only world that belonged to me was my room, and I was just stuck in a room. And then I left, and I promised I would never go back because I never could go back, only to realize now that I never left. My room is just bigger now. It's always been just a bunch of rooms, hasn't it? And you're just as worried, aren't you? You're not saying it, but you are, aren't you? Well, I guess when the cameras are off, I'm usually the one doing all the talking anyways, right? Oh, look at us both. Stuck in a room. There isn't much more to say about it. How about a little practice? Just to make sure. I mean, sure. Sure. We have all of tomorrow for that. And the day after that. And Friday, depending on what John wants done when, but why don't we practice for us? Unless you're really looking to kiss a girl for the first time in front of 50 people. Potentially in front of millions later. Oh, it's not your... But my apologies for selling you short in that case, apparently, if you're clearly so well versed, hun. Look, being gay in the Midwest is like... Oh. Well, look at you. Look at us. But the fans are going to want more, you know. They always do. They always do. I never said tongue per se, but, well, we gotta let all the little dykes watching from their little rooms in TV land know that it can always get better. Right? Right? Now I'm thinking that Molly would be hesitant with it, but I think she has this, like, very intimate passion to... Oh. Oh.